su espectro.
Hi, I'm Daniel of Metropolis Pictures, and the world must seem pretty scary right now. Thousands are being infected every day, hospitals are filled up, and a bunch of assholes are spending hundreds of dollars on essentials that really should be going to people who actually fucking need it. Just how much fucking toilet paper do you think you need to stop an airborne virus, you fucks?
I didn't buy any. I didn't even understand the toilet paper thing. What?
And don't even get me started on these assholes.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna let it stop me from partying. You know, I've been waiting.
I mean, it sucks, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're enjoying ourselves.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. What is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing me. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion.
But honestly, for the rest of the world, it's been Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing New Horizons came out at the right fucking time. I mean, what better escapism is there than a virtual fantasy land where the worst thing you have to worry about is, well, paying your rent on time? That and a bunch of assholes on Twitter complaining that you shouldn't time travel because it ruins the flow of the game? I don't fucking know. There's no virus here, there's no pandemic to deal about, no thousands of people dying every fucking day and an administration failing its own people constantly. No! Just a bunch of cute anthropomorphic animals, many of whom you weirdos on Twitter wanna fuck, which is, that's gonna be a yikes for me, dog. I, for one, am not playing Animal Crossing. My time has been devoted to something you really wouldn't expect anybody to play during this anxiety-ridden time, and as somebody who has suffered from anxiety for years and has even had massive anxiety attacks that have led him to the fucking hospital, that's definitely saying something. Now, despite the fact that I should probably be avoiding games about death and the end of the world, I've been playing nothing but games about death and the end of the world. As a matter of fact, one of these games in particular has death and the end of the world as part of their marketing gimmick, and the name of that game is Dark Souls.
The undead are corralled and led to the north, where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
I have fallen in love with this thing, and personally I don't know what to say about this thing that thousands upon thousands of pretentious video essayists, and of course Nikki Jakey and Super Bunny Hop, love you boys, haven't already said about it. My first exposure to Dark Souls was during its heydays, which I want to say was around 2012, 2013, where I originally bought it for the Xbox 360 out of recommendation from a friend who was really fucking into it. Personally, all I had heard about the game was that it was really hard and that fucking casuals like myself probably wouldn't enjoy it. But hey, I'm open to new things, and especially challenging things, so I popped it in the 360 and those fucking assholes were right. You know you're in for a ride when the tutorial is a literal boss battle. And even after that horrendous boss battle, I end up in this weird-ass shrine consisting of a mute, a weird monk dude, and a creepy-ass soft-spoken weirdo.
Take the lift. It's certainly worth a visit. It was once an undead city. You may find a clue or two, unless the ghosts find you first.
This motherfucker sounds like this one dude who tried to sell me drugs at a Toy Story 4 screen. Eventually, however, I gave up on Dark Souls, but for whatever reason I spent hours upon hours watching video essays about a game that I never even finished, nor had much of an interest in playing again. I think that's mainly due to the fact that I found the lore to be pretty interesting. Like, my friend, who was a big Dark Souls fan at the time, really hammered down the lore upon me, and I guess I studied it out of curiosity. But even after years of watching these random video essays, I don't actually know the story of Dark Souls. And even having replayed it now, I still don't understand the story of Dark Souls. Now, despite my confusion with this game's rather scatterbrained story, I still find Dark Souls to be one of the most therapeutic pieces of media I've played all year. As a matter of fact, I think that it's helped me calm down with my anxiety. And while this game pisses me off constantly and has me pulling out my hair on a regular basis, I think this game spoke to me because, in a way, it reflects the state of the world right now. And yeah, I find the story a bit scatterbrained in pieces, but from what I've gathered, the world of Dark Souls is currently suffering from a curse that has left it filled with famine and disease and evil. As you trek through this map of abandoned castles and dungeons, you get a sense that these areas were once populated with people, and the various NPCs you encounter sort of give you this feeling that the world is inevitably ending, and you, trying to stop it, is essentially fighting the inevitable. No matter how many bosses you kill or how many dungeons you trek through, the end is near, and you essentially have to prepare to die. The various NPCs you encounter all speak in this sort of soft and monotone way that almost makes it seem like they've given up on life in general.
Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity.
What's wrong? Get a bit of a scare out there? No problem. Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it.
There's this ominous melancholy to all of it. And despite this, you are forced to trek on. This game does not hold your hand. There are no map cursors, no hints. It's a D&D game without a dungeon master. And I'm not gonna lie, I kinda cheated. I had outside help, and you know what? I think outside help was a little instrumental in making this game a bit more excessive for me. Yes, I probably should have figured out that shooting the dragon's tail 50 times would have gotten you the Drake's sword. But you know what? I didn't think that way. And at the same time, that's kind of what I like about this game. It forces you to think outside the box, and in a way it's made me admit some faults about myself that I never realized. I constantly make the same mistakes over and over again, and it's only when I realize those mistakes that I actually progress throughout the game. I kept up with my strength and dexterity. I made sure my health and endurance were equal. And I made sure to look under every nook and cranny and cave and dungeon and all kinds of bullshit just to make sure I would find something, anything to help me get farther. And even if there was this impending threat of doom in every corner and that annoying ass fucking Carper demon, seriously, this is the worst fucking boss battle in the game. It is poorly designed, fuck these dogs. In a way, I sort of got used to constantly dying all the time. It became remedial, and in a way, I welcomed it. It just meant that I would try harder next time. And finally beating a boss on my own was really therapeutic for me. I beat the gargoyle fight on my own without any help, not even from this handsome motherfucker.
I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight, now that I am undead.
And when I finally rung that first bell and the camera just dollies out across the land that I conquered on my own, that shit was like heroin. Now, not that I would know from experience. Now don't get me wrong, this game is hard as hell, but that feeling of accomplishment you get at the end is more than worth it. And it's forcing me, man. This game is forcing me to learn every aspect of it. And after a while, I stopped accepting tips from friends and just went in blind. In a way, I feel like going in blind is the best way to experience this, not knowing what to come next and thinking outside the box. But like I said, there's no shame in outside help, and as a matter of fact, it would make things more accessible. And I'm not gonna lie, I did end up joining the Dark Souls Discord once I got to Blighttown because fuck Blighttown, and I met more than enough people who were happy to give me a hint or two to progress farther. The world is pretty scary right now, and it almost feels like there's nothing you can do in the face of death. So it was nice to play a game that rewarded me for facing that fact head on. And I'm not the only one who's going through this sort of scenario. There are several people I know who are playing challenging video games simply because of the fact that they find it rewarding and almost relaxing in these unrelaxed times. As a matter of fact, Writing on Games did a pretty interesting take on this topic in his recent video, which was honestly my inspiration for doing this video, so all props to him. So yeah, this quarantine might be hell, but you know what? I think we can get through it if we put our minds to it. And please, for the love of God, don't panic buy. Just because there's a virus doesn't mean that there's suddenly gonna be a food shortage. Save some for the rest of us with fucking food stamps, you asshole. Anyway, I'm gonna go play more Dark Souls, so this is Daniel of Metropolis Pictures signing off, and stay safe.
Airbnb spot, so we're just hanging out with them and trying to get drunk before everything closes.
Seriously, what fucking world do these people come from?